Be ready. Start. Every year, June 12 is observed as World Day Against Child Labor under the auspices of the International Labour Organization in an attempt to draw the attention of the world on the issue of child labor. The day brings together governments, employers, and workers, organizations, as well as civil society to work towards ending child labor. Though Sustainable Development Goal target 8.7 calls on the global community to take effective measures to end child labor in all its forms by 2025. We are far from achieving this. Child labor is prevalent all over the world, robbing many children of their basic right to live with dignity, enjoy their childhood, and attain their full development potential. Across the world, 160 million children are estimated to be involved in child labor, which is almost 1 among 10 children. The Africa, Asia, and the Pacific regions together account for almost 9 out of every 10 children being in child labor. The COVID 19 pandemic exacerbated the situation for many underprivileged children when their schools closed and their parents lost their jobs. Many children who dropped out of school and who were forced to work to supplement their family income have not returned to school. India has a significant incidence of child labor. Census 2011 estimated that 43.53 lakh children in the age group of 5 to 14 were involved in child labor due to factors such as poverty, non accessibility, and illiteracy. Child labor is preferred in beadi, carpet weaving, and firework factories. India enacted the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act in 1986, while the National Policy on Child Labor 1986 sought to adopt a gradual and sequential approach with a focus on rehabilitation. Its action plan included strict enforcement of the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act and implementation of the National Child Labor Project in areas where there is a high incidence of child labor. The CLPRA was replaced with the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act 2016, which prohibited the employment of children below 14 and had provisions for the prohibition on employment of adolescents in scheduled hazardous occupations. The right to education now mandates that the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children in the age group 6 to 14 years. Most drives against child labor have been effective, but only for a short time. There are several instances of children who were engaged earlier in labor and who dropped out of school returning to their workplace. But there is a success story. Valpur Mandal Tehsil of Nizamabad district in erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, now Telangana, was once notorious for child labor, but in a dramatic way. It became a rare exception of shunning child labor due to the total control, the commitment, and the involvement of the local community. In June 2001, a drive involving the community was started in Valpur to ensure that all children in the age group of 5 to 15 years went to school and that no child would be engaged as labor in any form. After a sustained campaign for about 100 days, Valpur was declared to be a child labor free mandal on October 2, 2001. 24 years later, there is 100% retention in schools and no child labor in a mandal, once notorious for it. The campaign to identify and track every out of school child and enroll them in schools was initially led by a committed set of officials. But the fact is that there was large scale resistance in the beginning. Canards were spread that the teams moving in villages were part of a nationwide racket to kidnap children and sell their organs, such as kidneys and eyes. Hotels refused to serve even tea with those in hotels, making sarcastic remarks that all their servers had joined school. But after persistent efforts and discussions with the people, the tide began to turn. People began to cooperate and even transformed it as their movement. Children who were seen in workplaces were sent to bridge schools under the NCLP. Public meetings emphasized the necessity of education and the need for children to go to school. In these meetings, children organized their employers who let them stop work and go to school. Under peer pressure, former employers also made a public announcement of writing off the balance amount, principal, the interest, and penal interest owed to them by the parents who took hand loans from them. The children were used as mortgage and as child labor till the amount was repaid. They even distributed school stationery to the children. A study found that a total amount of about rupees 35 lakh was written off the price for a good cause. All sarpanchs signed a memorandum of understanding as in the provisions of the Andhra Pradesh Compulsory Primary Education Rules 1982 with the government district education officer in the presence of the district collector to ensure that all children in the 5 to 14 age group in their village were sent to school. The government in turn undertook to provide access infrastructure and teachers. This was the first time that such an agreement had been signed between Sarpanch and the government. There is no child labor, an achievement that is very jealously guarded by the community. To cherish this proud achievement of being the first mandal in the state to be declared child labor free and to remind them of their commitment to sustain it, villagers erected boards in every village with the words, "There is no child labor in our village." On October 8, 2021, as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the V.V. Giri National Labour Institute, Noida, Uttar Pradesh, under the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India, organized a program in Nizamabad. The event was to celebrate 20 years of successful intervention to eliminate child labor and the declaration of Valpur Mandal as child labor free. All sarpanchs, caste elders, Jila Parishad members, and people involved in the campaign were honored for their role in sustaining it. The challenge made to the local media to identify at least one child who was not in school had no takers. A leading news magazine had an exclusive report on this event. The Valper story is well documented and has been appreciated by the International Labour Organization and the media. Valper has been visited by many experts in the fields of education and child labor. The former President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, and members of the National Human Rights Commission, India, sent letters of appreciation. The Valper model were there was the complete participation of the community in sustaining the fight against child labor is an integral part of all training programs that are organized by the VVGNLI. Made aware of its sustained success, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Labour, Textiles and Skill Development asked the then district collector who led this campaign to make a presentation before it on November 24, 2022. The Parliamentary Standing Committee appreciated and acknowledged its success. This is a community led success story that is testimony of the axiom that social issues can be successfully and sustainably addressed only if they metaphors into a people's movement. It is a proud moment for this writer to have been associated with it. He was the collector of Nizamabad district when this drive against child labor was taken up in Valpur in 2001.